Chapter 11, The Challenge. The dust of the mock battle still lingered in the courtyard, the last golden rays of sunlight casting long shadows across the scorched stone. Cassian Arkwright stood among his fellow Arkstrider recruits, their breaths heavy but triumphant after their hard-fought victory. He had performed well, not flawlessly, but with an instinct and presence that many of the instructors had quietly taken note of. As the teams disbanded, a hush followed the approach of a tall student from the opposing side. His frame was wiry but coiled with muscle, his crimson-trimmed uniform marked him as a third-year named Ren Talek. His glare was fixed directly on Cassian. "You got lucky," Ren growled, his voice carrying. "Your victory was strategy, not skill." Cassian turned slowly, not out of fear, but with deliberate control. "It was a team effort. No one wins alone out there." Ren scoffed and stepped closer, just inside the comfort threshold. "You gave the final push in that last maneuver. I saw it. You want to act like some noble leader? Let's see what you can do without a team to carry you." Murmurs broke out among the recruits and veterans who had stayed to watch. Instructors hadn't intervened yet, perhaps by design. Cassian held his gaze. He didn't want to provoke, but something about the edge in Ren's voice stirred his blood. "I didn't come here to posture," Cassian replied. "But if you need a fight to settle something, I need proof that you're not just some noble son playing war," Ren snapped. Dueling circle. Tonight. There it was. An official challenge. A circle of students began to form already, eager for something less formal and far more personal. Arkstrider duels were allowed under Academy code, but only under instructor supervision. Luckily, Instructor Mavrin was already approaching, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. "A challenge has been made," Mavrin said, voice calm but firm. "You'll meet in the circle under moonrise. No mana enhancement beyond second tier, and no killing strikes." Ren smirked. "I won't need either." Cassian nodded once, already feeling his HUD update with the pending challenge. His heart was calm, but his thoughts raced. He had survived illusions and trials, runes and reflex. But now, he would have to prove himself, not to the Academy or his lineage, but to every pair of eyes that watched from the shadows of the courtyard. Chapter 12, Duel Beneath the Moon. Night fell swiftly over the Arkstrider courtyard, and with it came a stillness that felt both sacred and tense. Lanterns lined the stone path to the dueling circle, an open-air arena ringed by spell-etched runes that shimmered faintly in anticipation of combat. The moon hovered above like a silent overseer, casting pale light on the gathered students. Cassian stepped into the circle, the soles of his boots whispering against the stone. He had left his nerves behind with every breath on the walk over. There was no room for doubt now. Across from him, Ren Talek was already stretching, his posture fluid and loose. The third-year student gave Cassian a curt nod, his earlier aggression now replaced with something calmer, almost respectful, though it simmered with intensity. Instructor Mavrin stood at the circle's edge, hands clasped behind his back. "Combatants, prepare," he called out. "No lethal strikes. First to yield, or to be incapacitated, loses." Cassian activated his HUD, watching the faint glow of his stats refresh. Name, Cassian Arkwright. Level, 4. Class, Initiate, Arkstrider Track. Health, 132/180. Mana, 68/100. Stamina, 84/120. Attributes. Strength, 11. Agility, 14. Endurance, 12. Intelligence, 13. Willpower, 10. Arcana, 15. Skills gaining XP. Shockwave deflection, level 3, 45%. Glyph casting, level 2, 10%. Reflex evasion, level 4, 70%. Situational awareness, level 3, 20%. The runes around the circle flared to life, sealing the duel. Begin, said Mavrin. Ren surged forward without hesitation. His style was aggressive, quick jabs and low, sweeping kicks meant to disrupt Cashin's footing. Cashin dodged, dipping under a punch and narrowly avoiding a strike that sent a gust of force past his ear. Ren was using minor mana boosts, riding the line just under the duel's restrictions. Cashin responded with a glyph. A shield etched in the air before him, absorbing the brunt of a forceful palm strike. He slid to the side and launched a counter kick, which Ren caught mid-air. They broke apart, breathing heavy but smiling now. This wasn't about hatred. This was about proving something. Cashin ducked low and activated shockwave deflection, redirecting one of Ren's heavier swings into the ground with a satisfying thud. He followed it up with a precise glyph, a burst of arcane light meant to blind. Ren grunted and staggered, but pivoted smoothly, flipping backward to put distance between them. Their duel continued in a blur of motion, each blow, block, and spell adding experience to Cashin's growing skill set. Finally, after a particularly fierce exchange, Cashin saw his chance. Ren overextended, just slightly, and Cashin used reflex evasion to roll in and rise with a glowing arcane strike that stopped just shy of Ren's chest. Mavrin raised his hand. Enough. The runes dimmed. Ren lowered his stance and grinned, clapping Cashin on the shoulder. Didn't expect that. You're sharper than you look. Cashin nodded, winded but steady. Thanks. You hit harder than I expected. The crowd dispersed, murmurs of approval and excitement following them. And as Cashin turned to leave, a new notification blinked softly in his HUD, Shockwave Deflection, Level 4, 5%. Trait acquired, Duelist's Instinct. The knight had tested him in fire and focus. And he had not burned. Chapter 13, Digital Reflection. The halls of the academy were quieter at night, but the silence carried weight. After the duel, Cashin walked back to his dorm in thoughtful solitude. A few students had witnessed the match, some whispering as he passed, others giving respectful nods. It hadn't been about dominance, it had been a clash of pride, instinct, and determination. When he finally reached his dorm room, he let the door close softly behind him. The lantern crystal on his desk pulsed to life with a touch, casting a warm, amber glow across the simple space. With a long exhale, he sat at the edge of his bed and blinked twice to bring up the HUD. Name, Cashin Arkwright. Level, 5. Class, Initiate, Arcstrider Track. Health, 142/180. Mana, 79/100. Stamina, 92/120. Attributes. Strength, 11. Agility, 15. Endurance, 12. Intelligence, 13. Willpower, 10. Arcana, 15. Skills gaining XP. Shockwave Deflection, Level 3, 76%. Glyph Casting, Level 2, 80%. Reflex Evasion, Level 4, 85%. Situational Awareness, Level 3, 54%. Arcstrike, Level 1, 10%. Arcstrike, he murmured. A small icon pulsed next to the name. With a thought, he opened the skill description, Arcstrike, Level 1. Channel latent arcane energy through a weapon strike, dealing moderate magic-infused damage. Can disrupt enemy wards and cause recoil against barriered foes. Consumes 15 mana. Cooldown, 20 seconds. The corner of his mouth curled upward slightly. It wasn't just a flashy display, it was a real weapon in his arsenal. A bridge between the physical and arcane, just like the Arcstriders were meant to be. The HUD blinked again, this time offering an optional notification, Combat Evaluation Complete, New Combat Rating, C+. Not bad for week 1, he muttered, then leaned back on the bed. For now, he could rest. But tomorrow, the real climb continued. Chapter 14, Reputation and Repercussions. The clash with Ren Talek had become the talk of the Arkstrider halls by morning. Whispers chased Cashin through corridors and courtyards, some admiring his nerve, others skeptical of a first-year standing up to an upperclassman. As he passed through the training compound, a few students offered nods of acknowledgement, subtle, but present. Even the instructors had taken notice. Instructor Korin gave Cashin a curt nod when they crossed paths, a gesture that spoke volumes coming from the stoic veteran. Cashin didn't let it swell his ego. The duel may have earned him some attention, but it also painted a target on his back. He sat through morning lectures on battlefield mana efficiency and the philosophy of flow, how emotion, thought, and spirit influenced spellcasting. Yet, his mind wandered often, replaying the fight with Ren, considering every moment, every movement. He didn't regret it. What disturbed him was how natural it had felt to lean into the fight. That night, during an open practice session, he stayed behind after most students had left. He paced across the training floor, eyes fixed on the runic target dummies. With a deep breath, he summoned the spell again, Arkstrike. His arm buzzed with coursing energy, the light humming beneath his skin. He thrust forward, sending the crackling lance of energy into a dummy's chest, which exploded in a spray of light and smoke. He hadn't just matched a senior student. He was becoming something else. Behind him, someone clapped slowly. He turned to see Instructor Mavrin watching from the archway. "Strength is a spark, Arkwright," Mavrin said. "It's what you build around it that makes a fire." Cashin lowered his arm. "I'm not trying to be reckless." "No," Mavrin replied. "But you are drawing attention. Keep your feet grounded, or you'll be swept up in storms you're not ready to weather." The instructor left without another word. Cashin stood in silence for a moment longer, then turned back to the dummy. This time, he didn't cast. He closed his eyes and listened. To the thrum of mana. To the beat of his heart. To the weight of expectation. The flames of his reputation were starting to kindle, and whether they would forge or burn him remained to be seen.